The diner smelled of burnt coffee and bacon grease. It wasn't glamorous, but it was warm, and for a man who had seen too much cold in his life, both on the battlefield and in his heart, it felt like enough. John Miller, a single dad and veteran, sat at the far booth with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Her tiny hands clutched the coloring book the waitress had given her, but her stomach crumbled so loud that she pressed her arms across it, embarrassed. John stared at the check in front of him. Pancakes, eggs, a single glass of milk for Lily. $12. He only had 8 crumpled bills left in his pocket. His heart sank, but his daughter's smile never wavered. She looked up at him with those wide brown eyes, full of the trust that he would somehow make it all right. At the corner of the diner sat an upright piano, old, dusty, probably more decoration than functional. Most people ignored it, except for the occasional kid who would smash its keys for noise. But John didn't see junk, he saw hope. He stood, swallowing his pride, and walked over to the counter where the manager was counting receipts. "Sir," John said, voice rough from years of shouting orders in combat zones, "would you mind if I played the piano for a bit? Just a broken bar to cover our meal. I can't pay in full, but I can give something back." The manager looked him up and down. John's clothes were worn, his boots scuffed, his beard growing in patches he hadn't had time to trim. A veteran, Sharia, but right now, he looked more like a drifter than a hero. The manager chuckled and shook his head. "Play the piano to pay for breakfast? That's a new one." His voice dripped with sarcasm. A few customers turned their heads, and some laughed under their breath. "What's next, buddy? Wash dishes with your guitar?" Heat rose in John's cheeks. He wanted to grab his daughter's hand and walk out, but then Lily's soft whisper cut through the noise. "Dad, you broken bar, can you play it, please?" His chest tightened. She didn't know his past. She didn't know about the medals shoved in a shoebox under his bed, or the years when music had been his only salvation. Before the war, before her mother left, before everything. "Just one song," John said firmly. "If it's no good, I'll find another way to pay." The laughter grew louder. A group of teenagers at the next booth snickered. One muttered, "Yeah, right, Beethoven in boots." John ignored them. He sat down at the piano, his fingers hovering above the keys. For a moment, the memories came rushing back at his mother teaching him scales in their tiny apartment, the hours spent practicing after school, the scholarship he once turned down to enlist after 9/11. He hadn't touched a piano in years, not like this, not with purpose. And in a broken bar he played. The first notes were shaky, as if his hands were testing old bones. But then something shifted. His body remembered. His soul remembered. The keys responded like old friends reunited. A soft melody filled the diner, silencing the laughter. The notes rose and fell, weaving a story of struggle, loss, and survival. It wasn't just music. It was a confession. Lily's eyes widened, her coloring book forgotten. The waitress stopped mid-pour, coffee spilling over the rim of the mug. Conversations halted. Even the teenagers, who had mocked him, leaned forward, caught in the unexpected beauty of it all. John closed his eyes, pouring his heart into every chord. He played for the men he lost in war, for the wife who walked away, for the daughter who gave him a reason to keep breathing when everything else seemed broken. He played like a man who had nothing left to lose except the little girl watching him with pride shining in her eyes. When the last note hung in the air, the diner was silent. For a breathless second, no one moved. Then applause erupted, loud, genuine. Some even stood. The same people who had laughed now clapped until their palms were red. The manager, his face paled, stepped forward. "Sir, a broken bar? I didn't know." His voice cracked. "That was a broken bar extraordinary." He cleared his throat, embarrassed. "Breakfast is on the house, anytime, for you and your daughter." But that wasn't all. A man in a suit at the counter approached him, handing over a card. "I run a music hall downtown," he said. "We've been searching for someone with raw talent, someone who can move a crowd. You just did that in a diner. If you're interested, there's a place for you." John blinked, stunned. He hadn't expected this. All he wanted was to feed his daughter. Lily tugged his sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered, "you're like a broken bar, a real piano superhero." He laughed softly, tears stinging his eyes. "No, baby girl, I'm just your dad." But deep down, he knew something had shifted. His music wasn't just a memory anymore, it was a future, a way to give Lily the life she deserved, and maybe even heal himself along the way. That night, as they walked out of the diner hand in hand, John didn't just feel like a struggling veteran anymore, he felt like a father who could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. The world had laughed at him, but his daughter, she believed, and that belief was enough to turn one song into a second chance. Message to the audience: sometimes, people will laugh at your pain, your struggle, your dreams, but your worth isn't defined by their laughter. It's revealed in the moments you rise, when you choose to play your song anyway. And sometimes that song becomes the bridge to a better tomorrow.